Alright, in this video, we're going to create enemies that spawn at a position not visible on screen, and then they're going to come and into the direction that our turret is, and try to attack our turret. So first things first, we're going to create our sprite object for enemy. Click to add animation, and let's find the images. There are two images that we're going to use, and this is to animate the tank moving. Now, it tells us to name it enemy, all lowercase, and we want to change the time to 0.05. Basically, this is the time between the images, between this and this, and if I had more of this and this image. And we want it to loop. Click apply, and let's just go ahead and drag one onto the screen to see that in action. Alright, so we can kind of see the treads of the tank moving. But currently, even if I fire at it, nothing happens, and it's not moving toward anything. Go ahead and save. So in this section, we're going to create some basic enemy AI. Essentially, we want the tank to spawn above our screen, and we want to charge toward my turret. Okay. So go to event editor, and let's add a new event. We don't want an infinite number of tanks to spawn every second. We want to spawn one tank at a certain interval. This one tells us to create an enemy every second. Let's go ahead and do that. Again, with anything with time, we want to use a timer. So add a condition, and we want to timers and time, value of a scene timer. Enter 1 as the time in seconds, and enemy creation. Make sure you spell and capitalize as I do. Also, do not forget the quotations. Awesome. Now, so whenever the timer is greater than 1 second, what do we want to do? We want to create an enemy. So, common actions, we want to create an object. What object? The enemy object. Now, where do we want to create it? Well, let's go ahead and back out a little bit. I'm going to click OK for now. Notice it's blank. We want to create the enemy for this tutorial purpose somewhere at the very top between here and here. Well, they did the thing for us, and it is between 0 and 800. Remember, the top left is 0, 0. This x position of the right side is 800. So we want the x value to be between 0 and 800, just for the tutorial. We can change that another time. So let's go ahead and do that. To get a random position between 0 and 800, we do the random function, and we put in 800. This would go from 0 up to this number. Now for the y position, we want to be off screen. So we don't want it to be, to make it off screen, above our screen. Let's go ahead and look at that again. Remember, the y value for this is 0. Anything below is higher than 0, and anything above it is negative. So I want to give it a negative y value. So let's go ahead and make that they say negative 50. Let's go ahead and do what they say. And we're not quite done yet. We need to reset the timer. Otherwise, this would always be greater than 1 second once it is greater than 1 second. We need to reset this timer. So start our, not just a timer, a scene timer. All right, and what was the timer name? We named it enemy creation. So we want to reset the timer. Now, if we run the preview, so we can kind of see the tanks being spawned right there at the very top. But they're not moving toward my turret. So let's go ahead and add another event with no condition. Basically, we want the enemies to constantly be moving toward our turret. So we need to go to Common Actions, Movement, and we want to move it toward an object. What do we want to move? The enemy. Toward what? The turret. How fast do we want to move it? They suggest 150. Let's put that in. Feel free to adjust this as you see fit. And since the force will be applied at every single frame of the game, choose instant for this force. Now, I recommend you, for this one, let's see what happens if I put permanent. All right. But again, they say as there are no conditions, that's why we should put instant. Maybe in another video, I'll show you the difference between instant and permanent. Let's go ahead and do what they say though for now. Let's see what happens. So we see the tanks spawning and moving toward my turret. My bullets still don't do anything to them, and they don't do anything to me. Alright, let's fix that. We see that our enemy is moving toward the turret, however, the enemies don't actually rotate toward the turret. So we want to add a second action after this movement. We want to change the angle of our picture. So angle, rotate toward a position. What do we want to rotate? The enemy. Toward what position? Well, toward our turret. Again, we're going to do point X. And let's just go ahead and copy what they have. But look, we immediately get a problem. You must wrap your text inside double quotes, but it looks like they don't. The only explanation I can think of is that they're using an older version of gdevelop that may not need quotations, or for some reason it just doesn't tell them that they're wrong. So let's go ahead and wrap that in quotations. Will that fix everything? It does. Angular speed, let's give it 0 to make it immediately rotate. And let's go ahead and play. Awesome, so look, they're rotated. Now, this might come to a surprise. What is this center point of our turret? Above, we tried, when we were doing bullets, we did the cannon point. If we look at our turret, we see there's a cannon point. But our center is spelled C-E-N-T-E-R. So why is this one spelled R-E? Well, depending on what part of the world you're from, you spell center differently. But since our center is spelled E-R, then let's keep it consistent. Even if the other one worked, we should be consistent in our code. Right? And it works just like before. Now, honestly, in my opinion, in a later video, I'll show you how we can make the tank, we can move our tank, our turret actually, and we can make the enemies have a more realistic, I guess, speed of turret turning. Alright, so that's more to come in later videos.